Welcome back to Real Push Podcast. I'm your host, Bernard Chameau. That is our co-host, Dominic Shaba. And with us today is a man that really defines transformation. He literally went from nothing to becoming a celebrated real estate powerhouse. He's an award-winning coach. He's a master trainer. He is a renowned instructor, even earning Instructor of the Year honors by captivating agents through his no-nonsense coaching. He is a soon-to-be author of the highly anticipated book, The Money Puzzle, which is going to be released in October. He is none other than Austin Cheviron.
Thank you, my friend.
Austin, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for being on.
Thank you. It's fun to listen to you say all that.
Well, it's well earned.
Yeah,
it's well
thank
earned. Jam-packed day for you. We're glad you're visiting Michigan. We're grateful that you made some time for us. So good to have you on the show. So let's get right into it. I wanted to give our viewers, our listeners, and your perspective of how you got into this. But I want to start early on. I want to start about Austin as a real estate agent. I want to talk about the man that was doing 80 deals a year, 100 deals a year, a man that built one of the biggest teams in Indiana. So take us back, brother.
Well, I'll take you back further than what you probably thought. It started when I was 6. And the reason it started when I was 6, and this is important for people to understand, it's because my father was a real estate agent. And so 85% of my life has been surrounded by real estate agents. Makes sense. I got to watch and see and learn, even though I didn't know what I was learning. I know now what I was watching and seeing. So I got my license at 20. I was his assistant at 15 to 16, doing 3 to 4 hours a day, printing flyers, putting stuff in Top Producer, the old system back in the day. Got my license at 20. And didn't really figure things out till I was about 28 when I had my second kid. That's when we qualified for welfare, which is a really humbling moment for a lot of different reasons. But it was interesting. Real estate allowed me to be in it for 8 years before I qualified for welfare.
Yeah.
So chew that one for a second.
Yeah.
It allowed me to sit stagnant.
Yeah. We Dominic and I, obviously we always do a little bit or a lot of research. So I would tell you that is fascinating. You know, when you think of dynamic father and son teams, when you think about the position you're in at such a young age, so you knew this was going to be your career path.
Well, missing 76 days of school my senior year and then taking 5.5 years to get a 2-year college degree, I didn't really have a lot of options.
Yeah,
So,
I get it.
Did I know? I kind of pigeonholed myself into, the family business.
Yeah.
Dad always did well. I always say he's the best real estate agent I've ever met.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, this is a natural path for me. I don't have to have a resume. I'm going to get hired in automatically.
True.
I've been working with my dad. We've worked this far away since I was 16.
I know.
We shared an office.
I bet.
My dad has his own office for the first time ever. And when I got it for him, I said, "Here's your new office, Dad." His comment, first time ever.
Which is in your building.
Which is in my building.
In your building.
So we always worked in a 10 by 10.
Yeah.
And for the first time ever, I got him his own office. And you know what his comment was to me?
Yeah.
He goes, "This is pretty small, Austin."
That's hilarious. So much to unpack. You know, my biggest takeaway in that, I want to get into your real estate career. I want to get into the team that you built. But, you know, we're talking to a individual. We're talking to a coach who mentioned he was on the point of welfare, who's now going to be writing what we hope becomes a bestseller. It's highly anticipated, The Money Puzzle, which we're going to get into. But you are coaching about finances. You are coaching about how to manage wealth and how to make sure you prioritize that time. But Austin, before we get into that, tell us about the real estate once it launched. You told us about your early years with your father.
Yes.
What catapults you to the next level of doing 100 plus, 80 plus transactions?
So it started at welfare, which is everybody's got to get their realization. Like the realization is this ain't working. I got a vision. I need to achieve it. So then I found some guides. It's always best, in my opinion, to go find someone who's paid the price, who then documented the journey and then can show you the journey. So we can all learn it on our own, and it's going to take a lot more time and cost a lot more money. Or we can enroll people in our lives to help us. So I found my 3 guides, and I just went and grinded. I said, they're successful. Let me go do what they're telling me to do. And I went, and it's really interesting. It only took like 5 years to go from 28 being at the company I worked at. I was the last agent. I was 100 out of 100 to being the number one agent within 4 to 5 years.
This is in Indiana.
In Indiana, yep.
Yeah. And what did the number one agent look like in Indiana?
I was 88 transactions at my brokerage, which everybody can understand what 88 well, no. Very few people can understand what 88 transactions, but we can visualize what that might look like.
Correct.
The thing that you can't visualize that I valued more important than the transactions, because I knew I was going to be successful, put my mind to it, this is going to happen, was that I did the 88 transactions in an average of 38 and a half hours a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where I wanted to get into detail. Yeah. What does that daily grind look like for a person that's doing 88 to 100 transactions a year?
You have to prioritize, unless you want to destroy. I'm family first is how I am. So family first meant me, my wife, then my kids too. And to say, how do I build this thing that can fund my vision, not only financially, but emotionally with the impact? How can it fund my vision, but not tear down everything along the way? Because once again, 35, 36 years, I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, I make no mistake. You and I have connected. We started talking for a reason. I reached out and kind of wanted to understand your journey and get some guidance through that. But I got to tell you, I still cannot process how you do 88 transactions
it's a lot.
In under 40 hours. But I say that through this lens, literally. I say that through, I know that it took me 80, 90 hours a week to get to do those many transactions. And probably because I was just doing the daily grind and not working in my business or on my business rather than in my business. Yeah. So you see yourself, you see the success. I know there had to be some wear and tear at some point.
Some wear and tear?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I deal with it I was dealing with it today. Yeah. Just thinking about it today.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the best things that I figured out was what I call the run rest cycle. So when you ask how can I do that much? It's funny. I have a friend of mine in Chicago. I met him at a conference. And we were actually at another conference. He's like, Austin, I'm doing like 30 transactions a year and I just don't have any more time to do more, but I want to do more. And I told him, I said, I think you need to take a break. He's like, no, you're not understanding. I need to do more. And I asked him this question. I said, are you working every day like it's the day before you go on vacation?
A good way to look at it. That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, it's perspective.
And he said, no. And I said, I think it's because you have too much time. And he goes, no, I'm telling you, I don't have enough time. I need more time. I go, I think you actually have too much. And because of that, you're not optimizing your actual time. Because the day before we go on vacation, we're on point, we're prioritized, we're scheduled. Like I would hire you that day. All the other days, I don't need you. But that day, I'll take you.
Yeah. And I would tell you the day you do go on vacation, your phone doesn't stop ringing.
You want to do more deals to go take a vacation. Yeah. So where I'm going with this is I created something called the run rest schedule. And my run rest schedule is 3 weeks on, 1 week off.
Is that so you don't get burnout, or is it so you tighten your schedule so much tighter that you have a week off?
Yeah, it's one of those things where I always say, if you can throw one rock and kill 5 birds, throw the rock.
Right.
Throw the stone. Let's go.
Yeah.
And so it's something that initially what it allowed me to do. So imagine this. If you got a month that has 4 weeks and you go on vacation, the week before you leave, you're on point.
100%.
And then the week when you get back, you're on point. Yeah, you don't have a choice. So now I just got to manage that one middle week. And what I found is because I had rest, my mind's like, hey, there's a break. You can run hard, stay focused, stay prioritized. My schedule shrunk. I had to delegate. I had to say no. It was like magic happened. And I got the rest and I got the run. And it was a beautiful cycle. So what was cool then is I took that over to my team. So when you ask about the team,
that was my next question.
How did we grow 25 agents doing hundreds of transactions? And one of my things, I've never bought a lead in my life. I've never bought a lead for any of my team.
Hear that, Dom? That's crazy.
I've never done it. I'm not saying anything's wrong with it. It's just not the lifestyle that I want people around me to have.
So let me do as an agent who's going to listen to this, and I'm sure we're going to get a plenty. So they say, okay, here's a guy who did 80 transactions, 80 plus. He's building this team. Now he has this team with how many agents, Austin?
We got up to about 25. I kept firing
agents.
them so fast that we never really got more than
That's
that.
okay. So these agents were heavily reliant on their sphere, or they were reliant on the way you coached, the way you taught to put them in a position to get more business?
Yeah, the great question. I think it's a mixture of both. So our team philosophy was teach a man how to fish, feed him for a lifetime. Give him a fish, feed him for a day.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not the instant gratification type of guy. I'm delayed gratification.
Gotcha.
Which is a tough life to live. But I know if I delay, compounds.
Yeah.
And so what we taught everybody was how to fish. And it was easy for me because that's all I knew how to do. And the whole world would say, hey, buy leads for them. Your business will double. And I'm like, yeah, but what about their lifestyle? Now they're running crazy. Now they're not putting their family first. Like my phone's been on silent with no ring for 13 years.
It's crazy.
I couldn't imagine somebody calling me and be like, you didn't answer your phone. I'm like, well, why would I?
Yeah.
Other than my wife or my kids.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle choice. And because I got my lifestyle right, I was able to grow my business exponentially fast because I always said this. I've never seen someone go through a divorce and have a successful year in real estate.
True. I think you and I talked about that, and I agreed. I want to ask you something. I know Dom's got a bunch of questions as well. We're gonna deep dive all of that. I love what you said because that's a lot of what I built my business on. That is the foundation of what I built my business on, and that is I believe in delayed satisfaction, delayed gratification. A lot of agents, COVID hits, they see the run of the mill, and they get into this mindset of instant gratification. I personally think agents need a small hint of instant gratification, maybe getting that deal done. But what makes that delayed gratification, that satisfaction so special?
Well, first you got to have a vision. If you don't have a vision, they say without a vision, people perish. So you got to have a vision of why you would delay. Because if not, it's just, especially the real estate over the last 5 to 10 years, it's so quick, but yet so empty. Business is empty and it's quick.
Right.
But yet I get the quick food. It's like always having McDonald's today. I mean, that's what our real estate industry is.
Eating it.
Here's McDonald's. Like you don't even have to leave your house. It's just coming to you.
Convenient.
Yeah. But they don't ever.
Gratifying.
I don't know if Grubhub or whatever these DoorDash. I don't know if they deliver vegetables, but they definitely give you fast food, right?
True.
And what they really need is vegetables. They need to say, hey, this is more fulfilling. It's not quick. It's not easy, but it's more fulfilling. So having the vision and then understanding the difference between quick and not fulfilling and in a lifetime of abundance of I can create my own business. Like I always try to prepare people for them leaving me, which sounds weird, but when they came on my team, I told them I want to prepare you to leave me, which is the opposite of what most teams.
You want to try to keep them.
Yeah, I need to keep you. I'm going to invest in you. And my thing was like, I want to treat you like a kid, which is I'm going to raise you up. We actually had a 4-year plan. Within 4 years, you should be off the team, which means you should be self-sustainable. You can build your own business. You can, and now go help other people.
Leader creates leader, brothers.
Yes.
Yeah. Amen to that. That's so true. That's so true.
To bounce back onto the non-instant delayed gratification, what was your vision?
Well, so it came really clear when my son was born and me and my wife had a conversation. I told her like, we're here, but I will get us out of here. And it hit me. I can't remember the day or the moment, but I knew that I said, when my son graduates high school, which is 18 years, I need to be free of time, free of location, and free of money. Plain and simple. It was given to me from above. That's what's going to happen. Now I got to figure out how do I do it. So my vision was free of time. So I'm not bound by someone else's schedule.
Okay.
Being in real estate, it's, hey, you got to go.
24 hours.
House is on fire. You got to go. And I'm like, So free of that, free of time, free of location, which means I'm not bound to have to be here. I can be anywhere. What happens if my father needs me and he's in Florida? Can I go there? And then free of money, which started initially, how do I have enough income coming in that I can pay the bills without me working? But then it's evolved over the years, and this is really interesting. I figured out I'm a prisoner to thinking about how much I need to charge for my time. Like
Yes.
I'm a prisoner
Correct.
to that thought.
Correct.
And
Guilty.
Yeah.
Like I can't just do this for free. This is what I do. I sell houses for a living. So I have to charge for my service. And how much do I need to charge? And so I became a prisoner to those thoughts. So now it's free of money in terms of, I don't even think about it. I just do it because I want to do it, because it's the right thing. It's part of my legacy. It's part of me giving.
Yeah.
So, and I'm working on that still. That's a tough one.
No, I know we talked about that. Listen, it's not always an easy question, so I'm going to throw this your way. So I want you to think it through really quickly. We talked about your childhood growing up with your father. You talked about obviously your father came in your life before your wife and your family. Who was the first person you would say believed in your potential, and how did that shape your journey?
Oh, that's easy. It's Grandma Clem.
Grandma Clem.
Grandma Clem.
Okay. All right.
Grandma,
Break it down.
So it
Grandma
was
Clem.
easy.
I doing what I do for a living now, coaching and training, it's forced me to go back through my past. And because those stories are there, and if I can't figure those out, it's hard to share the reality today with someone else.
True.
And so Grandma Clem, get this. So my grandma had 6 boys and then 1 girl. The girl was last. She had, I can't tell you if there was 40 people in our family, 30, 40, or maybe even 50. She had dinner every Saturday night for 26 years for everybody.
And everyone attended.
Everybody.
Wow.
5:00 every Saturday night, she cooked for everybody. And Grandma, she always told me, she goes, Austin, you're the only one in our family that's just like me. And so my grandma taught me about money. She taught me about family. She taught me about the important things in life. And it's funny, what time do you think I'm home every night for dinner?
5 o'clock.
5:00. Yeah. So,
And that is, I can attest to that. Him and I were talking a few times. Literally, you're like, "Hey, it's 4 or 5." Just letting you know, I got a hard stop at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm having dinner with my family. But to me, that resonated. That resonated to how regimented you were, how you did what you said you were going to do, and how important it was for you to spend that time with your family.
well, there's rules, and I've learned rules and exceptions. Rules are, this is how I should operate. This is what I do. An exception is, hey, this one time, this is the way it is. What most of us do is we get our rules and our exceptions mixed. And it's not that you don't have a good idea of what the rules should be. You know, I should be this type of person. I should be this type of father. I should do this with my money and this with my business. The problem is the exceptions come in 80% of the time then. And 80% of the time, you're the exception girl or guy, and 20% you're the rule. I just figured out what those were and I stuck to it. And I tell my clients when they're like, hey, I want a 5:00 appointment. I don't do 5. I'm with my family. Well, it's $1 million listing, Austin. I think you should have it. And I told him this. I can remember telling him this.
That become an exception at that point?
No, hell no, it didn't. No, I let him know this real quick. I said, first, my family's more important than you, and they always will be.
Yeah.
And second, if I go to have your appointment at 5:00, I risk getting divorced. And what you're going to pay me in commission is not worth half of my net worth, because I'm going to lose half of my net worth if I do this.
Very true.
And so it's just not worth it anyway. So I apologize that I can't be there, but this is why. And here's what's really interesting. They respected me more because I had boundaries.
Yeah.
And they referred me more because of it.
Wow.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. I believe it because we have talked about it and you have lived it. And I want to set the stage and transition the conversation a little bit. We got a little bit of insight of you growing up with your father. You talked about your grandma. You talked about being on welfare. You talked about the 80 plus transactions as an individual agent. You're leveling up. Your success continues to rise, and you get this team going. There's a lot of success. I would imagine financially it's rewarding as well. And you put a stop to all this.
Big question mark. People are
Let me rephrase that. 80 transactions, 25 agents, hundreds and hundreds of transactions all a year. And you say, hey, I want to give this all up. Well, coaching was always in your blood that you do that as a team lead. So let me pass the mic on to you and have you elaborate a little bit more.
When you know what the right answer is, you just got to make sure you get your ducks in a row and then you jump. So when I say jump, you got a parachute, you know where you're jumping, you know why you're jumping. It's still scary. And so, people that's known me for a long time, the first time they questioned what I did was when I created boundaries in real estate. When I said, hey, no appointments Friday evenings, home every night at 5 for dinner, and no appointments on Sundays. And my old boss, my manager says, you can't do that. And I'm like, I can do whatever I want. That's why I got in real estate.
True.
And then that led to going from being on welfare to being the top agent. And then that led to coaching and training the company that I work for, all their agents. And then what that led to is me quitting selling real estate.
Yep.
Okay. Go from
Financially
welfare to 500,000 a year.
Yep.
And I just said, I'm done. I am going to build a team and I'm going to build out my training is what I was going to do. And everyone's like, why would you do that? You just left even my wife's like, are you sure this is the right thing? I'm like, I have faith and I have things built in place financially that if I'm wrong or if it takes time, we're still good. So then stopped selling real estate, built a team. Within 3 years, we built one of the top 3 years from nothing to 3 years building probably one of the top SOI teams in the country.
Yeah.
Like done.
Yeah.
And
Well,
we
you
just
didn't get
grinded.
leads. It had to be.
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, the leads where you pick up the phone and it's 8 o'clock. Let's go.
Yeah.
That was the lead.
Yeah.
And we built an entire system around it. And then about 2 years in, I saw that the training had a bigger impact if I could take it outside my team. Everyone kept coming in saying, hey, will you train us? We see what you're doing with your team. Well, my training was primarily just for my team.
Correct.
One of the reasons I think they did really well. They were trained at the highest level that I could find. And I had to ask myself this same question. Okay, Austin, you can sell 88 homes a year, or you can help 40 agents sell 30 homes a year and help 1,200 families. Which one? It's got to be 1,200. Well, the same question happened to say, hey, you can help these, call it 25 agents, help hundreds, 500, 600, 700 families,
Right.
or you can coach and train and help millions of people. And it just was a quick answer. The team's got to go. And I just didn't have a choice because you only have so much capacity, because if you use up all your capacity, you're going to burn out.
True.
Yeah.
And so I just said it had to go. And now I got a lot of questions about that. Hey, why didn't you sell it?
Yeah.
I would have bought it. I had people come to me, I'll buy it. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not selling.
That's what's going to be my
I'm
next
shutting
question.
it down.
You're shutting it down.
I just
down
shut it down.
Yeah. It's a big jump.
It's called faith.
It's
Yeah.
a huge
and
leap
you
of
have
faith.
you have vision and faith that you're walking to the vision.
Yeah.
And because I didn't need the money, because I got my money right, which is a huge part to all of this. If you don't get your money right, you're always going to be eating McDonald's every day.
You got a nice rental portfolio?
Makes sense. It makes sense.
A beautiful.
Yeah.
By the way.
Well earned, brother.
Thank you.
When did it click to you that the vision is changing, that the brokerage is going to be shut down, that I'm going to coaching and you're full throttle? When was that point?
You want to know what I felt in my realization, or you want to know the day and
Both?
Okay.
Do both.
I felt that there was a higher and better use of my gifts and talents. So if I go back to the parable of talents, it says, I give you all talents and abilities, which I believe we all have. And when I come back and I see how you use them, if I don't think you've used them right, I'm going to take them from you and I'm going to give them to you. And I didn't want to be the guy my talents were taken from.
Yeah.
Because I saw what that
Doesn't
could
feel good.
Oh, I'm not going to be
feel
that
good.
guy.
Doesn't feel good.
And so when I realized I was pouring into people that just couldn't use my abilities and talents to the full potential, I said, I need to level up who I am investing my time with.
Makes
And
sense.
nothing was wrong with that or them. It would be the same as going back to my clients.
Correct.
If I invest my time with my clients compared with the agents, it's not the highest and best use. If I invest my time with some of the top people our clients are all the way across the world now. And I handpick the top people that I invest my time into, and they are a better investment of my time and talents and abilities than my team was at the time. And nothing was wrong with the team. It was just the realization that there's other people that are a better use of my time. Because at the end of my life, it's going to be a sum of all of my talents and abilities and the people I poured into.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a day it's like, hey, your potential was here, Austin. I gave you, and you operated down here.
That's that vision.
It's not going to happen.
It's not gonna happen.
I'll leave it all. Everything.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Let's springboard. So we talked about the early stages. We talked about what some people are still probably shaking their head
Oh,
on.
God, I still
Yeah.
on
process.
how you gave it,
Yeah.
on how you gave that all up. Coaching was your calling. I'll tie into that. You also said something that I want to go back to. You said I took the jump, the leap of faith. You actually did that twice. You put the team off, and then you started coaching, and then the second part is you wrote a book. We're going to get into that book for part 2, unless you were thinking about something else. But I want to get into the Cheviron products. I want to get into the Cheviron coaching. I want to get into what the mindset was about that. There's the Agent Success Program. There is the Teams Program. And there's the Cheviron Live. Coaching was your duty. What inspired you to have those 3 categories, and how did you see it fit for agents or teams growing up? Because
Great
let me tell you
question.
something, man. A lot of hype about you coming to Michigan today with all the other teams that you coach. Dig into that for us.
So you only have so much time. Okay. And I can give my time to people, but there's people, I mean, just a great example, people, some of my clients in Europe, it's nighttime right now, and they can't have me right now.
Yeah.
If it's my nighttime, they can't have me. So what I realized is that once I had something that worked, if I wanted to get it out to more people, I had to produce it. It wasn't a choice. I had to produce it. And so the first program we produced was our Agent Success Program. And that was essentially how I put my life and my business together.
Okay.
That was when I was training it at EXP. I was named the instructor of the year out of 255 instructors.
We did mention that.
Yeah, and I'm like, and it hit me, and I'm like, this. What does this mean, God? Like, what? Me? Like, what is this? Well, it just told me higher talents and abilities and talents and what I thought I had. Now it's time to go put those in place. And so what we did is we produced the Agent Success Program so anybody can consume it at any time.
Yeah.
And so that was our first adventure.
That was the base level.
That was base level.
Okay.
That's how I, as an agent, and it's exactly what I personally did. It's how I put my life together with my business, and I put them together. So that's winning twice.
Sure.
Yeah.
Winning once is you win in business, and your life is horrible.
Well, he wanted to get into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
And we will.
see, I dropped.
And we
Yeah,
will.
let's
And
give
we
him a
will.
little hit
Yeah.
here. That's called winning twice. So
Yeah.
this is how I won twice, and I won big on both of them. Okay.
Yeah.
And so then after that, what we did about maybe less than 12 months later is we recorded our Teams program.
Sure.
And
I've dug into that a little bit. I've dug into that a little
So
bit.
for the teams, and just like Agent Success, we flew our friends in from all over the country. I put $2 billion of sales in the room, which was a pretty cool feat for me. $2 billion a year in sales. We flew them in. We sat them down. We had 10 cameras. We had all the producers, and we recorded it. And then here's what's really funny. Once I recorded it, I didn't need the team anymore because I was able to get the message out to everybody.
That's right. That's right.
And so that's what we did. We recorded that. And then the next program after that was about another 8 months. I asked myself, what I recorded the wealth program, which was next for my kids, because my kids are going to know dad as somebody who does really well,
True.
flies across the country, speaks for a living, but they don't know dad who is on welfare. So I locked myself in my room for 2 months. Very tough thing to do as a guy who wants to break the walls down.
Sure.
And I wrote everything I knew about money. And once I got that done, we filmed and we produced it. So we have 3 programs. We have Agent Success for real estate agents balancing life and business.
Yep.
We have our Teams program on how to build a team that serves your legacy, essentially.
Correct,
How do we
correct.
do it? Build off of SOI.
Yep.
And then the third program was our wealth program, which is essentially how do you handle financials? From awareness to systems and processes, from your personal money to your business money to creating generational wealth.
Yeah. And then there's Cheviron Live as well. Is that a weekly?
Yeah.
That's a weekly?
That's my weekly. Yeah.
Tell us
So
about that.
so people want still proximity. So if you buy my program, you can go through it, but people still want the proximity, the what that gives, that energy, the accountability, the community.
Correct.
And so once a week during our run cycles, I take 1 week off a month.
Yeah.
But once a week, I put everybody into a group coaching session, and I just go to town.
Yeah.
Just like I did my team, I now do this for agents all over the world. We come together once a week for an hour, and I train on 3 things. You'd never guess: life, business, and financials. So 1 week it's life, 1 week it's business, the next week it's financials.
That's weekly.
That's weekly for 1
weekly.
hour.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's my offerings.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll make
to
sure
the-
we get those links out for you too.
Thank you.
With the coaching and the 3 programs. And that's nice to see, man. It's just, when you look at that story, you talked about you talked about starting the brokerage piece, and you also talked about the SOI, because we're going to get into the book next. My question to you is, do you feel like the modern day model of a brokerage or a team, do you feel like that could still be as impactful with some of the AI technology coming out and with some of the rebranding that some of these brokerages are doing?
Well, I'll say this: in 2018, the brokerage I was at, I didn't see a way to step up. So I went to my boss and I said, hey, if you want me to continue training, I want ownership in this company. And it was a family-owned business, 5 different locations, 100 agents. And we worked for 8 months on me being part owner of the company, because I just didn't know, out of 30 years of my life, I didn't know how to keep going, more impact. And when she said, hey, this is a family-owned business, I can't have you in after 8 months. I really took a pause and asked myself, okay, what's needed to achieve the vision? And I thought it was this, and I just got hit upside the head, and I paused. And what I realized is that me owning my own brokerage could have been more handcuffs than wings to fly, more liability, more things I got to deal with. And so to answer your question, Bernard, I'd really have to go back to each and every individual to say, well, what is your goal and how can we achieve it with the least amount of energy and effort, the greatest financial gain? Not that I want somebody to have the money, but you can now give it away.
Right.
And what does it take to do that? Because our first thought normally isn't the right thought. It's a piece of the bigger puzzle, but it's normally not the entire puzzle. And so each individual, I would just say, what is required of you to help you achieve that vision? And can we work through those pieces? Because at the end of my career, I don't want a high expense and high liability. That's what I'm trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
So if I take that on in the beginning, what is the plan to get rid of that?
Makes sense.
So, and I'm 41 right now. I am very conscious of, I do not want high expenses. I do not want high liability.
Looking good for 41 too.
Yeah, I'm trying, man.
Yeah. And highly, highly successful individual agent, highly, highly successful, a team leader with 25 agents. You get the coaching program launched. This thing is taken off. By the way, we have an EXP chat. I'll say our brokerage, there's over 300 agents. A lot of hype in that chat.
Huge hype.
About you coming to Michigan today. I know you got an event, Crack the Code. That's going to be in Roy Local. We'll get into that. You know what? Since we're on it, tell us about that. What's Crack the Code today at 2:00?
So Crack the Codes, Ken Hirschman asked for me. He said, hey, I have Wealth Wednesdays. I'd like for you to come up and talk about money.
And does Ken have a team?
Ken's got the #1 team.
Yes, he does. Yeah, he does. That's why I asked that.
Yeah, he sure
does.
He's got the #1 team.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, we have Wealth Wednesdays. Could you come up and speak on financials? And I'm like, well, I have a new book coming out. I wrote a wealth program because I understand the foundation of financials. If you don't have your financials right, you're not going to take these jumps. It's too risky. You're too much in fear. So,
do you feel like financials is the foundation of everything that we do?
Well,
I
think your spiritual life is.
Yeah.
It helps.
Your financials, it's one of those things. It's like a cake. If you don't get some of the ingredients right, it don't work.
Correct.
Yeah.
And financials is one of them.
Yeah.
Now, to me, I always write my goals in 5 spheres: spiritual, personal, family, business, financials. Financials is the least important, but if you don't get your financials right, everything else. So there's times in which you got to focus on it. So today at 2 will be the first ever keynote I give off of the newest book, The Money Puzzle, that releases October 7th. And I'm going to go through and break down a couple of the main pieces, one in the personal section, which is the foundation. If you think of a pyramid, the foundation is you personally.
Correct.
And how you think about money and where does it all go. And then after that's the business, and then generational.
Well, I think that's a great breakdown. #1, by the way, coaching the #1 team. You coach multiple top teams in the state. That was going to be the lead up to the Money Puzzle coming out October 7th,
2025.
We'll have the link on the website as well. So, agent, team lead, coach, successful. Let me write a book. Tell us about the mindset. Tell us what the build up to writing this book, and then dig into the Money Puzzle, the highly anticipated release coming out. Let's dig into that.
So I'm a big fan of, I create a business to support the lifestyle I want and not necessarily what other people want me to do.
Okay.
So the world will knock on your door saying, hey, Dom, I want this of you. I want you to do this. I want you to do this. I built my business.
You've proven that too.
Yeah.
You've proven
And this
that
is
over
a
and
tough
over.
one.
Yeah.
Because the world says, hey, I want you to do this. Hey, and I'm like, no. This is what I want. And so I built my business around it. So as I built out my coaching business, I built what the products and services that I wanted to give to the world. But there was a moment in which I realized that the front end consumer, when they first come in, spending hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands, isn't always the answer.
Correct.
And so I wanted to be able to have something that they could consume on their own for a very little cost to help get them into the ecosystem. So the book will be a very, very minimal investment for someone to come in and learn the systems and processes of how to think about money, how to handle
Proven
it.
systems and
Yeah.
processes.
Oh yeah, this
The
100%
proven-
works.
Yeah.
And I'll spoil it for everybody. It has nothing to do with making money.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
It has nothing to do.
You heard it here first on Real Push.
Yeah.
There's only one chapter really on income, and that's about how you think about money and not necessarily earning it.
Yeah. And listen, there's got to be hesitancy prior. I know you believe in everything you've done built up to that, but what was the point of no return where you're like, I'm writing this, I believe in this, and I have support through this? By the way, some highly, highly acclaimed testimonials on this book. Glenn Sanford, CEO of obviously EXP. You had the real producers, I forget his name.
Remington Ramsey.
Remington Ramsey. You got some other great authors in there endorsing this book with great testimonials. But what was the point of no return when you said, I'm writing this?
It was my mentor. God blessed me with a lady. Tom Hopkins is one of my
got a
one of my
testimonial there as
endorsements.
well.
Yes, and Tom,
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know Tom was the biggest name in real estate sales for decades.
Yeah.
Coached and trained millions of people. Well, I was blessed with someone who helped him. Her name's Judy. Found me and pretty much said, "I like what you do. Can I help you?" And she kind of just stuck with me. Well, she was with him for 40 years.
Wow.
And she picked me up as a side project, something just to give back to in her life. And she told me for years, she goes, Austin, we need to write a book. And I'm like, I read books. I'm more of a numbers guy, not a letters guy. And this feels more like letters to me.
You are a
than
numbers
So I'm a numbers guy.
Yeah.
And she told me for 2 years, we need to write a book. We need to get it out there. We need to write a book. And there was a day which I just said, you know what, Judy, you're right. Let's do this. And we had the content because we wrote the wealth program. And so we had the content, we had the base, we knew the audience was wide. It wasn't just like writing a book, how to start a real estate team, which would be very niche. This goes to anybody. And I wrote this for my kids, 15 and 13.
Wow.
So when
So
you
I can
talk
imagine
about
the inspiration behind it
and how
motivation.
basic it is too.
Yeah.
My kids have to be able to read this and understand how to do it.
I love
Makes
that you
sense.
said how basic it is, because a lot of times we get so discouraged to read something because it might not make sense, or I'm just going to use the words, it might not be dumbed down, or it might not be layman's terms.
Yeah, we're not in the position to do what they're asking or telling us to do.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So what's funny is my publisher helped me create the name of the title, The Money Puzzle. And what they didn't know is I love puzzles.
Well, you mentioned it a couple times.
I
You used the
love
word puzzles
puzzles.
without referencing the book a couple times.
Yeah. So when they came back with it and they showed me how they split the $100 bill, I'm like, this was supposed to happen this way.
Yeah.
I'm like, did you know that I like puzzles? I literally have a puzzle that I did when I was 5 still with me.
Yeah. So go ahead, Dominic. I know you
Now
want to ask something.
with all the success, with a team, with coaching, what does the vision look like for the future?
It's
Good
funny.
question.
I told one of my friends, Mr. Randy Gamma, once. I told Mr. Randy, he's like, how you doing, Austin? I go, Randy, I think I just found my last job ever. I said, I just got one small pivot I got to do with it. He goes, what are you talking about? Because he knew as of last year, I think I owned 8-9 companies.
Yeah.
And I said, I think I finally got my last thing. And he goes, what's that? I go, I just share wisdom now.
Yeah.
And I just share wisdom. And he goes, well, what's the pivot you're talking about? I go, the only thing I got to pivot now is to not charge for it. And I'm in my last, what do you want to do when you're 70 years old? You want to pour into people. It's part of your legacy.
Yeah.
And I've been able to
pay
bust
forward.
Yeah, that's
pay
it.
forward.
I mean, I know Dr. Joe Currier, who taught me the philosophy of win twice. Dr. Joe's like, I just want to pour into people while I'm still here.
Yep.
And Dr. Joe's probably in his early 80s now. and
Had an impact on your life.
Oh gosh, yeah. And so now it's a matter of, and I get the blessing of doing it in my early 40s because I took care of my 30s.
Yeah.
And because I took care of my 30s, I'm able to do now what most people probably never get to do, but they might hope to do, which is just, how do I start pouring into people? And the last pivot is for free. I always watch a guy on TV who's reading the Bible. And they're like 60, 70, 80. I'm pretty sure they're not getting paid, right?
Yeah,
I'm
Mr.
sure,
Rogers type.
Sure, I'm like, okay, they're just giving, but instead of doing it when I'm 80, how do I do it when I'm 40?
Yeah.
It's like the people on YouTube.
Well,
People on YouTube.
Yeah, it's the most rewarding feeling. It is a philosophy that's proven through time and time, paying it forward, giving back. It kind of defines, I think success is one thing, legacy is another. So, and that's kind of the path that you are creating for yourself. Let me ask you, fill in this blank, success without what is meaningless?
First word that comes to my mind is impact.
Yeah. So success without impact.
Yep. So the question is what's impact to me? What's impact to everybody? It could be a little bit different.
Yeah.
I had I'm going to start with calling it a blessing, which will confuse people, but I had the blessing and the horrible thing. My mother passed when I was 17 in an airplane accident. Just grabbed me, said, "Mom, your mom died." Just like that. And I say it's a blessing because I got to learn life at an early age. The people that stole from me, the emotions I had to deal with, things that most 17-year-olds don't get to deal with, don't have to deal with. And so the blessing is because mom got to teach me about life. I said in the book in the very beginning, I said, "Hey, Mom, thanks for, we did what we did. We made the best out of a bad situation," which was when she died. It took me about a decade to get through it, but all the stuff that I was able to learn and to become because of that event, today helps me with the impact piece.
No question. Everything in life's a blessing. You being on welfare was a blessing. It was probably the biggest blessing.
Me going to the Super Shots clinic to get free shots for my son, where my wife's like, "Hey, we can just pay $200 a shot." I'm like, "Honey, we can't. No, we can't."
Get it for free.
And going there in my suit,
I know.
and the lady goes, "Who do you work for?" I go, "What's that matter?"
Yeah.
She goes, "No, what company do you work for?" And I wrote it down, and she's like, "I've never heard of that company." I go, "Lady, I'm just here to get free shots." And she goes, "Oh, you're not a doctor." And that moment, I'll never forget, the way the world saw me and who I actually was completely different. And I realized it's like the world is seeing me as the doctor and I'm on welfare. Get this right.
That's a priceless lesson.
Priceless.
Lesson.
I agree. If you can find grace from some of the worst experiences in your life and turn them into some of the positive experiences in your life, it's fair to say everything in life's a blessing.
I got a quick funny story here. I was in Nashville last year coaching a real estate team that had about 300 agents. And I'm one of the keynote speakers. And then there's somebody else that's the other keynote speaker, day one, day two. Well, I'm sitting in the back on day one, and this guy sits next to me and he starts talking to me. And I figure out he's the sales guy for the other keynote speaker. And I'm kind of an introvert, which is different being a coach and doing what I do. I got to talk for a living, but I'm kind of like, just let me sit in the corner and think and write. And
you don't break the ice.
I don't break the ice. Right. That's right. So he comes and he sits next to me and I can see he's an extrovert. He just wants to keep talking and asking me questions. And I'm like, and he's got a bright, flashy suit on and I'm in my black and white. And
that's that's a flashy suit.
I just said this to him. I said, "Mike, I just got a big box of failures." And he thought I was an agent on the team.
Yeah.
And then he stopped talking to me. Yep. He's just like, "Oh, okay." He's not buying what we're selling. He's the big box of failures guy. And then the next day I went up there to go speak. And when I got done, he's staring me down. He's looking for me. He goes, "Big box of failures, huh?" Because he's like questioning he thought I was lying to him. And I said, "Mike, how did you think I got to this point?"
100%.
It's all the failures.
He goes, "Big box of failures." And I go, "I've just learned from them."
Yeah.
I've screwed up so many times, but I pivot quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can tell you as an agent, there's nothing that I dissected more than my losses. They were some of my most personal moments, and they helped me become the agent that I've become today.
That's it.
One last note before we wrap up, man. You keep talking about coaching. Tell us about your boys. You're going to coach some baseball down the road. Is that in your plans? On a lighter note.
That's funny. So I got the blessing of going to Cooperstown a month ago for my son. If you don't know what Cooperstown is, it's the mecca for 12-year-old travel baseball.
Travel baseball, I was going to
And
say.
so we were there. My father taught me a long time ago. He said, he goes, don't coach your kids. You'll mess them up.
Is that what he said?
So, yeah.
So you're staying out of it.
So I stay out of the coaching. Now what's really hard is I watch the coaches. And what I do for a living is I coach the coaches. And so I always have to give the coaches of the team a warning. I'm like, I am a high performance coach and I analyze everything you guys do, and it kills me to watch this. So I stay on the sidelines. I try to keep my mouth shut.
You don't do any lessons behind the scenes?
Nope. I stay away. I let the coaches do it.
I've seen it go south before with parents.
Yeah,
I've seen it too much pressure, living in their kids' shoes. I get it.
So I just try to help create the environment now with the thoughts and the thinking compared to the actual action. So, hey, maybe there's a different way we could think about doing this.
Yeah.
And then I ask the coaches like, hey, I can't speak into what you're doing because I don't even know your goal.
Sure.
And so who am I to tell you what to do? I don't even know what you're trying to achieve. And then I go, well, do you know what you're trying to achieve?
Yeah.
He's like, well, I guess we got to think about
That's
that.
the coach in you.
That's the coach coming out.
That's the coach in you.
So I try to stay, 40,000 feet away, but still with a little bit of impact.
I can only imagine how hard that is to do.
Yeah.
Dom, did you have anything you wanted to mention?
I do. There's a lot of people that talk about your slogans and sayings. We hear it all the time in your coaching sessions and stuff. Winning twice is a big one. You just said it earlier. Financially and personally, how does that get implemented in your life?
Winning twice was taught to me by Dr. Joe Currier, and I lived it watching real estate agents my entire life. And what I didn't say is my dad was the manager of the largest coastal banker office in the nation when I was 12. And so I watched people win in business and lose in life. And that doesn't equal success. That doesn't equal impact.
That's
that
an
doesn't,
overall loss.
Yeah,
that's
a loss.
That's great people. Don't get me wrong. Great people, but they couldn't control the family side, the personal side. So winning twice to me was I'm winning in my personal life, and then I will win in my business too. But if I don't get my personal life right, the business doesn't matter. And watching that for 20 some years, I implemented that. I taught it to our agents.
Okay.
And it's an unknown philosophy when you get into real estate. It's hustle, grind, hustle, grind.
Yeah.
Which is part of it, but it's also be healthy, have a vision, work for something greater, enjoy time with your family, take vacations. Because what's the point of the work if you're not living the true life?
True.
And I heard Glenn Sanford's quote Don Hobbs once. He said, the purpose of a business is to support the lifestyle of the business owner.
Yeah.
Break that down. The purpose of a business is to support the lifestyle of the business owner, where most business owners' lifestyle slip because of the business.
Yeah. Last question. What didn't we cover? What do you want to tell us that we don't know about Austin Cheviron?
What I like to tell people is stay in proximity. If you like what you hear, if it makes sense, if it strikes a chord, it's like, this is good stuff, just stay in proximity. I'm not the extrovert, so you won't see me all over the world. It's not who I am. That doesn't support my lifestyle. But stay close, watch what I'm doing. Try to figure out, why does he do it this way? Because there's a reason and a rhyme for everything.
Yeah.
And watch, because I'm winning, and I'm winning twice, and I'm going big with what I'm doing.
Beautiful.
I've given everything up. I'm all in.
Powerful.
So you can watch me on my website, austincheviron.com. You can see what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And the one thing I can promise everybody who's watching is my business, whatever I do, will support the lifestyle, the vision, and the legacy I have.
For sure.
And it's big. And I've given everything up to go all in on it.
For sure. Powerful statement, brother. The Money Puzzle, it's pre-ordered on Amazon. You can also get a copy or order a copy where?
Amazon, I decided not to be a book warehouse.
Yep.
So we will not be selling books through me. So Amazon, Barnes & Noble. We recorded the audiobook last week, so there'll be an audiobook. It's there.
When is that dropping?
October 7th, 2025.
Awesome. Austin, congratulations on all of your success. I think there's a lot of us that you inspire. I know for a fact. As I mentioned from the start, he's an award-winning coach. He's a master trainer. He's a highly coveted instructor, leading some of the top teams. He's got the coaching program out. We'll put all the links down below. Want to send a shout out to our partners, JM Visuals. Thank you for always doing our audio visual. Palazzolo Building Company, always providing us a nice setting.
Yep.
Austin, such a pleasure to have you. We know you got a big day. Thanks for making some time for us. We're excited to see the book when it comes out.
Thank you guys.
you.
Appreciate you.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.